or corporation said, well, if you come up here, we'll move it up here, we'll give you some money to do business. And of course, who was the head of this club but William Bendix? I believe of Bendix Automotive. Moved up here to a place called Northville, Michigan, north of here. And they handmade the planes, put the wings on them, take them out to a local field and test them. Well, eventually with this money that he was given, he moved this plant to right over here where you flew in the other day, Detroit Metro Airport. In that general area, he built his own new factory because there was an airfield there already called Detroit Industrial Airfield, and he could test the planes there and fly them. The version you have here is AT-11. I believe I get that right. AT-19, sorry. It'd be in the civilian, it'd be a V-77 made by Vultee. And its idea, the civilian version was it was going to be a Cadillac of the skies. 4 different kinds of leather to choose from, color leather for the interior, mahogany paneling, seated 4, including the pilot. Really catering to the commercial, the civilian pilot that could afford to have a kind of a deluxe plane. So hey Bev, I'm going to hand them off to you. And then if you look, when you get a chance to look around the side as you go to talk to Bev, you'll see that one of the characteristics of a Stinson plane was this gull wing. As you walk around, you'll see it looks like the shape of a seagull. And it was known, when you saw that, it was a Stinson. Mr. Rogers is also one of the guys behind it. The original intent was to build a SPAD. This is not a replica. This is a SPAD 13 that has been built from the ground up from copies of original blueprints from France. So luckily they're all a bunch of machinists and tool and die makers and engineers, so they can read the blueprints without having to read French. They figure it out. And they've been working on it about 5 years. And I think the original intent was for it to fly, but I don't think the FAA was probably going to let that go. Because all 5 years of work on it, and then to put it in the air, and then probably not land it. Because we have Harley Davidson motorcycle tires on it right now, because World War I fighter tires just don't exist right now. So we're going to disguise it with wooden hubcaps. But everything is to scale. We have a replica engine on the inside because the engine that it used is what we call a Hispano-Suiza engine. And that particular size engine is almost near impossible if any exist. It was a V8 engine, automotive engine. One of the really neat things, though, is the inside of inside the cockpit. They've got it locked up right now, but it's all wood paneling, hand carved. They cut this all by hand. They've lacquered it by hand. When they do the wing, the spar, they have the spar, and then they hand cut the ribs. And then what they do is, the other side we can see, it's they cover it with a fabric. Normally it would have been linen in the older days. They have a sort of a polyester material that they use. They cover it, they heat shrink it with a hair dryer, and then they basically stitch it. And there's so many hand stitches that have to be done, stitched by hand per inch to sew it to the frame with the wing. Then they cover it with tape. Then they dope it, usually on a day like today with no ventilation, so everybody's feeling pretty good, even the visitors. And that's a great kind of paint. And then they painted it according to what would be Rickenbacker's plane at the end of the war, after he had those 40, I think it was 36 victories. And you see on the side then his Rickenbacker's squadron emblem, hat in the ring, because finally the United States threw their hat in the ring in that last year. So this is the only plane that we flew basically in World War I, because all we had was a Curtiss Jenny, and it was really good for storming barns and delivering mail and teaching people how to fly. But it wasn't going to hold up to any German fighters. So we can come around this side and take a look. It just had chairs originally. So here's the uncovered wing. All this strut, this cabling is per the original diagram, so they would have cabled it like this. Of course, it's not even a tail dragger. It's got the skid in the back, so there are no brakes on it. So you're coming in, and hope you grab some furrow in a French farm field that's going to stop you. Turn it around with these little grips in the wing. Your crew, the back, because it's basically how a kite with wings and the motor in front. Turn it up, turn it around, get the throttle going, get the RPMs going, get it going. And you have to run with it a little bit, get it level, and it takes off. So but it's kind of hard to believe that men were going up in these so soon after the Wright brothers had figured out how to glide for 30-something seconds, or whatever it was. So I don't think, I can say this, I don't think it's going to fly. Mr. Rogers is vet, 90-something, I think he said he was going to go fly it. I don't think the FAA is going to be too good at that. So we all just sort of keep the story. But anyway, so that's our SPAD.